John's a United fan. What do you want to say, John? You're on talkSPORT.
Hi, Adrian. Today, I've walked away from my football club. After 40 years supporting them, I can't support this. I can't. And Ed Woodward, if he said it was raining outside, I'd have to go and check myself because I don't believe anything that guy ever said. It's an absolute disgrace. Who do they think they are? Who do they think they are? We're the fans. We've made these clubs. They've not made them. It's an absolute shambles. And I will not be going. I will not support that team anymore.
I think this is. It's been coming for a lot of United fans, John. Thanks for the call, mate. Passionate stuff. Since the Glazers took over, it's been coming for a lot of United fans, but this is really going to ignite it. Absolutely. Daniel's a Chelsea fan. What do you think, Daniel?
Hey, lads. Well, first of all, I would say that I'm furious, absolutely furious. This is a joke. It's, it's damaging to English football. It's damaging to international football. The whole thing is basically the end game is just to Americanize our sport, I think the fact that the announcement came at 11:30 last night, which is 6:30 Eastern time in America, will tell you all that you need to know. They're crowd pleasers, but they're pleasing the wrong crowd. It's just, with all due respect, just a load of fat American slobs that will be watching this, because proper football fans who have been, supporting their teams throughout their whole life will walk away. I know for a fact that I will, definitely, because this is not the football that I grew up watching,
Well, it's power wanting their own way, isn't it? Eh? They're wanting to run their own, set their own rules, set their own competition, do their own TV deals. So it is about a business. It is about personal wealth of these guys who own and girls who own these football clubs. They want to get bigger and bigger and bigger and grow and create that distance between themselves and anybody else. It's like when you start a supermarket at the very bottom, you get 1, you get 2, you get 3. They don't stop there and think, we've got enough now, we've got 10 and we're getting this money and every year we're going to be able to survive, we've got Champions League football. They're now thinking we want 550 of them or 1,000 of them. It's about growing and growing and growing and growing with disregard to everything about the game, the history of it, and the supporters. Yeah. That goes to the side.
And the other clubs as well. And the caller was right there. Simon Jordan said this morning, and I'll give you the quote, this is about Americans controlling the World Series of football, and it just about summed it up. I do want to point out that, the dream is still alive, because people will say, well, it never happens. You'll never get a club breaking into that top 4 or winning the title. Leicester did it. 12 years ago, Leicester were drawing at home to Scunthorpe in the 3rd tier. And since then, they've won the title. They've been in the Champions League. They look like they might get in the Champions League again. West Ham could possibly get in the Champions League. That jeopardy is alive. Chelsea, they've finished, 10th one season recently? It is not impossible that the likes of Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea have finished outside the top 4 recent times.
Look at Spurs and Arsenal.
Well, they're not great, are they? That's a joke.
Everton trying to break into the top 4. West Ham trying to break into the top 4. Leicester trying to consistently finish in the top 4. There's other clubs that are getting bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. Yes, they've got wealthy owners as well, Aid. That helps. But we still need that competition every single week with the hope that your team, whether you get promoted from League 2, League 1, the Championship to the Premier League, that's what football's about, isn't it? Surely.
You would have thought so. These clubs don't seem to think so. Anthony is a Liverpool fan. What do you think of it, Anthony?
So I think all of this current talk about this kind of outrage to it, I think it's a bit hypocritical, if I'm honest. There is all this talk about it's all for the fans. Where was the Premier League when Bury were going under? When they could have came in to stop that happening, or when Bolton were in trouble. And all these West Ham fans that are up in arms about it, well, where were they when they were handed a 120,000-seater stadium free of charge? I didn't see any reduction in their season ticket prices. I didn't see them laying on for the fans. Sky Sports.
There was a lot of anger about the West Ham stadium situation. With the Bury situation, there was a lot of anger towards an individual who didn't seem to be running the club properly. And
but there was no action, was there? There was no action about it. There was no Premier League. The Premier League didn't step in at that point when they had the opportunity to do so. there was lots of opportunities.
I can't see the comparison, but go on.
No, I can't see it.
Okay, so at the moment, if the Premier League are all about the fans, there's only talkSPORT who currently provide free-to-air service of any Premier League coverage. If they were that concerned by the fans and making it all about the fans, then when the Premier League are selling their TV rights, they would be saying, no, we insist on having something on TV for free-to-air. That doesn't take place. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely dead against it as well. I'm a Liverpool fan, and I find it quite... I'm really conflicted by it, and I don't think I will be watching it, and I think I probably will vote with my feet in by whatever means I possibly can. However, I think just because the Super League is bad, I don't think it makes the Premier League and this sport outrage good. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy flying about at the moment.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I think a lot of people have referred back to when the Premier League started, and
that was for money.
The greed that was involved, yeah, absolutely. But there was still promotion and relegation from it. With this European Super League, it's a closed shop. They basically decided they're the greatest. Yes, Spurs are in that number. They've decided they're the greatest, and they can't possibly be relegated from that elite group. They're going to stay in there, creaming off loads of money, which in turn will make them bigger domestically. It's right. It's fundamentally wrong.
It is, but hasn't there been other ideas that have been talked about in the past? Just to bring out, like Premier League wanted to make sure they had an elite group of clubs within the Premier League that would never got relegated. So they were on about having a Premier League 1 and a Premier League 2. So the ones in 1 never got relegated. Though they put themselves into the elite. And there's a lot of clubs who are not in this elite 6 who would consider themselves in that elite 20 or elite 15.
Oh, there'll be...
So, again, but that's another reason where there is people out there and owners of these clubs who are all against it now, who are quite happy to have an elite 15 in the Premier League with no relegation.
Let's... Everton never get relegated. Let's speak to an Everton fan. James is with us on the show. How you doing, James?
You know, lads, I think this could be a good thing. I think this could be a chance for us to liberate football from the monopoly that is this 6 clubs that think they've got a hold on this football. This is a chance for us to rewrite the rules, whether it be a 51%, whether it be a wage cap, whatever it may be. The cards are on the table now. The colours are showing. We know what we're up against. And if they need pushing towards the door and pushing out into this separate league, let them go and do it. Be strong, be brave. There's nothing to be scared of. For every Man United, there's a Leeds United. For every Arsenal, there's an Aston Villa. For every Tottenham, there's a Huddersfield. These teams can be replaced with teams that have got a rich history and a very big fan base. All right, not a global fan base, but don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. And I hope the FA know that most fans in Britain have got their back, and they're backing the government, they're backing the Prem, they're backing the FA to take sanctions against these clubs because the vast majority of people have got the back, and we want to see something done on this.
James, it's a really positive call. Appreciate that. And you know, you stirred something there. And we did a show. One of the reasons I love working here is because we are serious about lower levels of football and the pyramid of football. We are the only ones who bring you national radio commentary of any EFL games. You won't get that anywhere else on national radio, only on the talkSPORT network. We did Drive, a peak time show from Bishop Stortford, way down the pyramid in an FA Cup qualifier earlier this season. I've been to National League games, League One game I was at on Friday night, Championship games this season. There is still football, and actually what I consider, relatively speaking, there's always flaws in every aspect of it, but if you look hard enough for them, but what I consider to be good, honest football out there. You know, and where you can actually, when fans are allowed back, you can go and you can feel part of something really special. These elite, so-called elite, self-appointed elite clubs, they're coming away from that. What the last year without fans has proven is that they don't need the fans. As disgraceful as that concept is, they don't need the fans to survive.
Well, they're thinking about themselves as global brands, aren't they? I mean, that's what it comes down to. They look at the supporters.
They're investors. They're businessmen.
Yeah, all around the world, whether it be China, whether it be India, America. It's absolutely huge, and that's what they're looking at is the billions and billions and billions of people and money that would be available to these clubs in merchandising of a European Super League. So you get why they're thinking, how can we make ourselves even bigger? But they're forgetting about the traditions and what football is about, Aid. But I hope what this does, and we've had this pandemic over the last 12 months, and it's really tested football to its core, hasn't it? it's really pushed it to the limits and financially. And we've seen games that have not been able to take place because clubs can't afford them to take place. So in a time where football is cutting back, the Big Six are looking to take it to another level and take more money away from what is already there. Yep. That's the biggest disappointment for me. Yeah, and they'll be an island in themselves. Dulwich Hamlet, non-league side, tweeted earlier today a picture of a playoff-winning goal from a penalty spot, saying football exists outside the top six. Choose a team that wants you. Choose days like this. There's plenty of football out there, so don't lose sight of that. If what these elite clubs are doing isn't for you, there's plenty of other football out there. This is talkSPORT.